Hi, I'm Stephanie Becker, and this is my Module 1, Building Capacity in Ourselves. So first we're going to take a little bit of a look at what I will include in my presentation. First one is the introduction, and I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Then we'll synthesize the resources that we read, and then finally I'll end with a conclusion. Getting into a little bit about myself, I currently have my bachelor's in elementary education, and I received that from Kansas State University. I then went on to get my master's in adaptive special education, kindergarten through 12th grade. Currently, I hold the position of a behavior specialist within the Abilene Public School District. I am in my 19th year in education. Demographics of our area is Abilene School District is a 4A school district. We are in the town of Abilene, which has a population of around 6,500. Personally, I am a wife of 22 years to my high school sweetheart. I'm a mom of 3 very active boys. I'm co-business owner with my husband. He is the president of an insurance agency here in town. I have a passion for children. I've always known that this is what I wanted to do. And then finally, a lot of our time and resources and money go to sports and following my own children as they play throughout the state. To give you a little bit more idea of who I am and my everyday life, we currently have a freshman in college at William Jewell who plays on their basketball team. I have a junior son who is very ornery, as you can see, and always playing around with his younger brother who is a 7th grader. We have celebrated some big accomplishments in our family over the last year. My son Colt just finished up 7th grade season, winning his NCKL league for cross country. And then the past year, I was privileged to have both of my 2 older boys play together on the same team in basketball and baseball, and both made a state appearance. So some super exciting times for me as a mom. Synthesizing the articles, if I were to define leadership capacity, I think of leadership capacity having is people typically think that it's having more than a title or position. Sanborn asserts that real leadership is not conferred by a title, rather it is shown through everyday actions and the way we influence the lives of those around us, and that was from Baldanza 2016. Leadership capacity means recognizing the potential in yourself, your staff, accepting suggestions, and being open to change in order to pursue your goals, to improve your abilities, and to increase the effectiveness in your building. And then I just included another little caption from the Glossary of Education Reform, the term capacity in reference to the perceived abilities, skills, and expertise of school leaders, teachers, faculties, and staffs. In order to look at the characteristics that I identified within our research, I looked at 4 themes that I thought were pretty evident throughout all of them. The first one being collaboration. Meyer and Luz of 2021 identified the importance of collaborating and reflecting to gain clarity of learning and impact and intentionality in managing resources. I feel that collaboration is a definite strength for me, given my experience currently as a behavior specialist, as well as previously as a special education and co-teacher. Collaboration is what I did and what I currently do from day to day in order to meet the needs of the students that I'm serving. It's important that I'm able to interact and talk both with students and parents as well as teachers. Support is another theme that I identified. Grissom, Eaglelight, and Lindsay, 2021, discussed creating a positive school climate by helping teachers feel empowered and extending to parents and stakeholders. Again, support is something that's important to me because I feel like to get anywhere, we've got to make sure that teachers have an understanding that they are supported, and that we want to make sure that we're creating a positive school environment is something else that's important to me, especially in my current district. And I am a new position for this district, so I've worked really, really hard on making sure that I develop those relationships and that teachers feel supported. Empowering them is something I am still continuing to work at. Just helping them see that they can do what I do, and building that capacity within them that they can step out and take that step on their own. Another theme I identified was continuous learning. From Regional Education Laboratory, it stated that effective principals emphasize continuous learning and growth for both students and teachers. Continuous learning is a strength for me, both as an educator as well as a presenter to my districts. I believe that we have to continue to develop the capacity in our teachers, and a lot of times I feel like that can even happen within our district with leaders within the district. Strategic Management by Grissom, Eaglite, and Lindsay identified principles optimize how resources are used or allocated to support teaching and learning. While I have a lot of experience in managing people as far as paraprofessionals, I feel that I do have a lot to learn still in managing of resources and allocation. Schools' professional capacity and developing that. Baldanza of 2016 suggests the steps below to follow when recruiting, selecting, and hiring. And what he identified within recruiting is that it's important that you are able to start early and create a file of potentials. I think that's especially important now, given the teacher shortage that seems like we are in. Being proactive, going to college fairs, recruiting from there, recruiting paraprofessionals or other substitute teachers who want to pursue education, and working from that is another great way to really get yourself out there and let others know about the district that you're in, as well as networking with other professionals and administrators may also open some doors for you in the recruiting aspect. When you're selecting who you're going to hire, who you're going to interview, definitely need to follow a format of questioning and interviewing that really gets to who the candidate is and what you're wanting as a district. He mentioned using a STAR approach, as well as making sure that when you are selecting and interviewing, that you're giving that person that you're interviewing a good feel for what the district is, what your beliefs are, what your values are, so you're making sure that it's going to be a good fit. Hiring, again, happens as a collaborative team, and looking at those hiring decisions, making sure that we're basing them on evidence about what makes teachers effective, as well as when we do hire, that we're providing quality mentorship to those people so that we're providing them support, which is going to help maintain their happiness and wanting to stay within our district. Collaborative professional culture. As far as school improvement, it is imperative for the principal and leadership team to clearly demonstrate that capacity building is a priority for every adult in the school, including themselves. I like this quote because when I think about school improvement, I don't just think about our teachers. I think about our paras. I think about our support staff. Every adult is what we need to be looking at. That includes having those planned professional development around what we see as needs for students, as well as creating common planning times that our teachers can meet together, they can collaborate. Teacher retention. I like this quote from Branton Haxey. It takes a village to recruit, train, and keep a teacher. Strong relationships are key to accomplishing this monumental task. I think I like this one the most because in everything that I do within my job, it's all about relationships, whether that be with parents, whether that be with students, and whether that be with teachers. We can create teacher retention, again, if they feel supported, if we're meeting those needs that we see are identified, and then backing those up with that professional development. I also believe in providing those strong mentorship programs, and I really liked in one of the articles where they talked about having incentives for those mentors and mentees. You know, we're putting a lot of work and time and effort into that. Let's make sure that they are feeling appreciated. Success and well-being of students. Strong principals use what they observe in classrooms to give teachers useful feedback, which evidence suggests can raise teachers' impacts on their students. I don't think there's any stronger quote than that. I did include a couple others, but ultimately we're looking at what makes our school successful. That is going to be looking at what makes our students successful and what makes our adults successful in order to reach those students. Professional learning. Again, leaders also value the importance of collaborating with others in teams and using reflection as a tool to gain clarity about the learning impact. Reflection is key to be able to figure out where we need to make changes, what we're missing out on, as well as what can guide us within our professional development. Cultural responsiveness, especially in our more rural areas, I think is super important because we've lived kind of in a sheltered area. Speaking specifically for me, it's important that as we have people move in, we're able to support our teachers and to support their instruction so that we're having those equity-focused principles. Cultivating leadership is another, and others, so that school staff embrace their roles in realizing their leader's vision. Again, as I stated before, I think we have a lot of potential within the current staff that we have. Let's use it. Let's delegate to roles and have people step up and share their knowledge. Digital literacy, making sure that we are collaborating and accessing those online professional learning blogs, grant funding. Those are all things that we can tap into to increase our professional learning. Setting an example of substantive self-development begins to build a culture that ensures a safe learning environment for staff as well as students. I know as a teacher, it was really frustrating to me when I was expected to teach a curriculum that I hadn't got training in. So with that, as you take on new teachers, it's important that we follow up with them and get them that training so that they feel that they can be successful in what we're asking them to do. And finally, just that student success. Let's improve our instruction to enable teachers to teach at their best and students to learn to their fullest. Implemented systems. We looked at how can we use supervision, support, and evaluation to collaborate and develop that capacity within our teachers and within our schools. Strong principals use what they observe in classrooms to give teachers useful feedback, which evidence suggests can raise teachers' impacts on their students. It's a chain effect. We've got to make sure that when we are supervising, that we are providing quality feedback and looking at those areas that our teachers can improve on as well as ourselves. Support. Principals can best support staff by listening, not being afraid to make changes based on those needs that we're hearing coming from teachers and students, and sharing with that leadership. I think one of the most important things is not losing our enthusiasm and optimism, and working together to create future directions for the school. I think as time passes, we tend to lose that spark, and I think that that's what excites our students and excites our staff. So as admin, we've got to keep a hold of that. And finally, just within evaluations, our best available evidence suggests that successful principals engage with teachers' instruction by harnessing observation, providing thoughtful feedback, and making use of achievement and other data. We shouldn't be evaluating just to check off a box. We need to evaluate so that we are providing our teachers with that effective feedback so that they learn about what they need to do better, so that we are in essence then impacting our students' education as well. In my conclusion, finally, correlation. I really appreciated this assignment because it allowed me to look at that standard. It allowed me to build on my knowledge of the professional capacity. I felt like in order to increase a school's capacity as a leader, you must create a positive school culture and support collaboration and professional learning. It was relevant to me because it helped me to increase that knowledge. And with that increase in knowledge, I'm going to be a better professional, and increasing cultural responsiveness within my building, as well as distributing leadership and school improvement. Because of what I've gained from those resources as a future leader, I want to make sure that I'm representing a positive and supportive culture. Finally, just my reflection on the assignment. It's going to influence my decisions as a future administrator because I feel like I have a better understanding of the necessities that must be present when serving as a leader of a building. I do feel like I need to continue to develop my understanding of our individual differences to make sure I'm culturally responsive to my staff, my community, as well as my students. So that sums up my presentation. Here's a look at the references that I stated throughout my presentation. And a second page, maybe. I hope that you enjoyed listening to my take, and I look forward to listening to each one of you and learning with you. Thank you.